Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news, a bit more transfer rumours now to update you with now. Reportedly, we know the board have made it clear to Jose Mourinho, we have to sell before we can currently buy now, because we know Jose Mourinho spent nearly £300 million in 3 transfer windows and he's in his second season with Manchester United, and the Manchester United directors believe he will make the move to PSG in the summer as well, but reportedly he has to sell before he can buy. Reportedly now Man United have come to an agreement that Manchester United are willing to sell Fellani off for £8 million in January. And reportedly, we know the teams like Besiktas have reportedly been interested in him. Galatasaray were interested in him in August, but Jose Mourinho had blocked the move. But reportedly, Manchester United have come to an agreement with Besiktas in the current process, and Man United are willing to sell Fellani for £8 million in the current process as well. Because let's be honest, we will still cash in, we will generate money, and people may say, is he worth more than £8 million for Fellani? Because really, since he's considering we did pay £27.5 million for him from Everton back in 2013, he's made over 2 century appearances now as Fellani, in the Premier League as well. But reportedly, we know Fellani he's failed to really establish himself since he's been at Manchester United. This is his 5th season in process. I presume, he has been a flop mainly. Majority of his playing time he has been a flop. But this is the best season he's had with Manchester United, without a doubt. Because this season he's definitely made a massive impact. Obviously before he got injured, Fellani, he's made a fantastic impact at Man United. But reportedly, as I said, the board are saying basically we have to sell before we can buy, because we know Fellani is coming to an end of his deal and it becomes a free transfer next summer. But as I said, Man U would rather cash in for Fellani basically rather than let him go on a free next summer. It did say before we did have the option to extend his contract by a further 12 months as well, but it did say the player was actually keen on a long-term extension. But reportedly, Man United have come to an agreement with Josh and we're willing to offload him for £8 million in January as well. But as I said, Jose Mourinho was desperate for him to sign a new deal, because Jose Mourinho, is a big admirer of Fellani. He says he's a key player in Jose Mourinho's squad, and he's proven that this season in our midfield fantastically well as Fellani in the current process. But reportedly now, Jose Mourinho is a big admirer of the player. He did have a meeting, basically, regarding Fellani's future. Jose Mourinho was convinced he wanted him to stay at the club, basically. But he did say we could lose him. Well, we are at the risk of losing him on a free transfer next summer if we don't cash in for him in January, because in the process, Man United haven't not secured Marion. What? Yeah, wait there. Fucking freezing me. Sorry about that, I do apologise. But yeah, reportedly Besiktas have come to an agreement and he's going to be sold for £8 million. Because as I said, if Man United can't in the process, try and secure Fellani a new deal. I think he did turn down a new offer, a new deal of an offer from Manchester United. But as I said, if we can't secure a new deal at Manchester United, then it'd be beneficial for us. We'd rather cash in for him in January rather than just let him see out his deal and leave on a free transfer next summer, Fellani as well. But Man United have reportedly eyed Fred as a replacement for him as well from Shakhtar Donetsk. That's in the media. We reportedly identified him as a possible replacement for Fellani as well in the current. Bev, Sunday dinner ready? Is Sunday dinner ready? When's it ready? Right, but yeah, as I was saying, Fellani, so it's looking like we've agreed, we're going to agree to sell him in January as well, and we've eyed Fred as a replacement, because Jose Mourinho's still looking to address certain areas of the squad. We definitely need someone who can put a ball into the box. We definitely need someone at the left back as well, because obviously, reports had broke out about Luke Shaw yesterday from Manchester United that reportedly Man United are willing to sell him for £20 million in January as well. So we could cash in £28 million for 2 players in January. Fellani £8 million, Luke Shaw £20 million as well, because Luke Shaw, since he's been at Manchester United, we know he's had a real difficult time, since he's been at Man United, and we would benefit, cash in. Some people say he's worth more than £20 million, Luke Shaw, but as I said, we would benefit from this, considering at Manchester United he hasn't really had much, chance to really perform. He hasn't played that much for Manchester United. He's only made 32 appearances, since he's been at the club. He's played 32 games since he's been at Old Trafford. So some people, and plus we know he's known for injuries as well as Luke Shaw. And it's also, suggesting that in the press that Arsenal and Chelsea, two big rivals in the league, are reportedly interested in Luke Shaw as well. I think it's mentioned Tottenham, it's mentioned a few others as well. Tottenham's been mentioned, but I think Luke Shaw may be keen on reuniting with Pochettino after they were fantastic together at Tottenham Hotspur. Not Tottenham, Southampton, where Luke Shaw's risen up the ranks, risen up the youth system, and they were fantastic together at Southampton, obviously before Pochettino went to Tottenham. But if we can get £20 million for Luke Shaw, and then obviously Jose Mourinho's going to have to find an identify a replacement. But we know Luke Shaw he's under contract with Manchester United until 2019, because obviously he's got that 1 year of extension that takes him to 2019. Luke Shaw, we know he made his international debut in 2014. We purchased him for £29 million Southampton in 2014, and we know Luke Shaw is frustrated with the lack of game time he's been getting at Manchester United, especially under Jose Mourinho, because since he's come back from long-term injury, we know he's only featured twice in the Carabao Cup as Luke Shaw. He's probably he's now fifth choice left back now under Jose Mourinho. But for me, he is for £20 million. Is good. It is good. To generate that money in the January transfer window for Luke Shaw. I think maybe some United fans think he's worth more, but due to he's known for injuries. He hasn't played a lot at Manchester United. If you can take that into consideration, 20 million's good to get for a player that's hardly performed at Man U, hardly played. Being injured quite a bit as well. So I think it will benefit from that. And Fellani is a player, as we all know, but since he's come to Manchester United, he hasn't really made a big impact. But this season, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He has done well when he has played Fellani, obviously before he got injured. So reportedly, Fellani, Manchester United have agreed to sell Fellani for £8 million in January. Plus Luke Shaw, we're willing to sell Luke Shaw for £20 million in January. But I think maybe a team or so are prepared to probably pay that for Luke Shaw as well in the current process. But obviously, as I said, Tottenham will be identifying replacements, because obviously Danny Rose's future is uncertain at Tottenham Hotspur. But as I said, Manchester United, I think he could be the favourable player to replace Luke Shaw, Danny Rose in the current process, because Danny Rose did say he was willing to turn Chelsea down to make a move to Old Trafford. He's been at Tottenham 10 years. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2021, as we all know, is Danny Rose in the current process. And he did say he wasn't satisfied with the wages he was receiving. He did criticise Tottenham for their lack of investment back in August, but apologies had been made. He did say he didn't want to play 15 years without one trophy or one medal, Danny Rose in the process. And we could get him as a replacement in January as well. But Mourinho's looked at quite a few left backs, and we know Kieran Turner's been mentioned. That's Tottenham have also had an interest in him. Man United have had an interest in quite a few teams have been interested in Kieran Turner. He's a fantastic, bright prospect. He's Kieran Turner for Celtic Football Club as well. I think he'd be fantastic as a replacement for Luke Shaw, because obviously Tottenham are identifying him as a replacement for Danny Rose, because his future is uncertain with Tottenham. Kieran Turner, but he's just recently signed a 6-year deal though with Celtic Football Club as Kieran Turner. Made his international debut in 2016, as we all know, and he's made 8 senior appearances for Scotland as well. And he's been at Celtic since he was 7 years old, so he's risen up the ranks. He signed for them at 7-year-old, and he made his competitive senior debut in April 2015, as we all know. In 2015-16, he played in over 30 games. He become more regular in the Celtic team. And, he's I think he's currently captain now of Celtic as well as Kieran Turner in the current process. But he's a fantastic fullback. But I think he'd be a good replacement for Luke Shaw as well. And Tottenham would identify him as a good replacement for Danny Rose as well in the current process. But Luke Shaw, we know, he did confirm the other week, he did say his career could be over, after a fallout with Jose Mourinho, and after a breakdown in relation with Jose Mourinho, and he knows he's fallen down the pecking order now, Luke Shaw. And he's had a difficult time, since he's arrived at Manchester United. He is good when he gets some running games, but we know Luke Shaw is known for injuries, and he just basically doesn't feel satisfied at Old Trafford. So, yeah, I think it'd be beneficial for us to cash £20 million for him in January. You know why? Because obviously he's known for injuries. He hasn't played much at Manchester United, and if you can take that into consideration, 20 million is good to say that in the process. But some United fans will say he still is worth more, Luke Shaw. But yeah, we could still see a few players go. You've got Ander Herrera as well. That's been mentioned. Reportedly, Atletico Madrid have been linked with Ander Herrera, but reportedly, it's actually suggesting in the press that Jose Mourinho is still keen on keeping the player, and Jose Mourinho has reportedly blocked blocked Ander Herrera basically making a move to Atletico Madrid, because reportedly Man United do have the option to put if we don't sign him a new deal in the process, we do have the option to put a 1 year extension on his current contract, which would take Herrera Herrera's current deal until 2019 as well. But Ander Herrera, has struggled to perform this season. He hasn't performed up to his potential as Ander Herrera, because he, obviously, obviously when Pogba and that regained full fitness, and we know Fellani just recovered and that, and we know that Herrera, he's not going to be a first choice in that midfield, as we all know. But obviously, he's been playing recently quite a bit, obviously, due to the injuries of Pogba and Marian Fellani. Pogba is our most essential creative midfielder. He's expected to be back at the international break. But I said Herrera does better in a three-man midfield than he does in a two. But he was fantastic last season. He won Player of the Year. Man United, he's nearly made 100 appearances now for Manchester United as Ander Herrera. But last season, his work ethic was good. He was creating. He was creating a lot of clinical chances. Was Ander Herrera last season. He was phenomenal last season. He made his international debut in 2016. And for Spain, he's very, very good, because he's won trophies at the under-20 and under-21 level as well as Ander Herrera. But reportedly, Atletico Madrid are reportedly interested in him. Maybe Herrera, maybe Keane on the move as well. So too, Herrera could go in January as well. So that's another player Manchester United could maybe cash in on as well. But he's another player that's coming to an end of his deal with Manchester United. But the press have been reporting, they've notified Jose Mourinho that he has to sell before he can buy. And also, Jose Mourinho did clarify that he wants more backing in the transfer market, because obviously Mourinho is going to reinvest in the January window, because he did miss out on quite a few targets back in August. Missed out on even Perisic, because we were not willing to pay the £48 million. Bale, Griezmann, we missed out on quite a few targets. We even went for Fabinho as well. So, yeah, but Jose Mourinho, we know he's been linked with a move to Paris Saint-Germain, and he did say he would not end his managerial career with Man United. He did say he wanted to spend 15 years at Old Trafford. He did admit that, Mourinho. We know he's got a 3-year deal with Man U. He's in his second season of his 3-year deal, and he has got a good pedigree. Jose Mourinho, he has won everywhere he's been, but he's never had a high tenure with a club. The highest tenure he's been at a club at is 3 years, but he has managed a lot of different teams as Jose Mourinho. But he did classify PSG as special, and especially in the press in the last 3-4 days, he has been linked with a move to PSG. The Man United directors believe he could make the move to PSG next summer, because obviously PSG, as we all know, invested a lot of money, as we are all aware of. So yeah, could it possibly happen? I don't think it will happen, to be quite fair, because he won the FL Cup and Europa League with us last season, his debut season, Manchester United, Jose Mourinho. So I think he will still stay. But it did say the other week in the press he was demanding a pay rise for him to sign a new deal with Manchester United, and the pay rise was about $3 million. He was demanding in the current process as well. But he's saying we have to sell before we can buy, as we all know in the process. But what else I could update you on? But as I said, Mesut Ozil, has been linked with a move to Old Trafford, as we all know. That's been 4 or 5 weeks now. Ozil's been linked with a move to Man United. Reportedly, if Ozil, he's a player coming to the end of his deal. Reportedly, Ozil suggested out he was demanding to wear Jack Wilshere's number 10 shirt if he is to possibly stay and sign a new deal and secure a new deal at Arsenal. Also, it did say Arsenal were willing to offload Ozil for £30 million in January, but it did say Ozil is still 100% focused on Arsenal Football Club as well in the current process. He's 100% focused on Arsenal Football Club, because obviously, Jose Mourinho is keen on reuniting with Mesut Ozil. After they were fantastic together at Real Madrid, Ozil and Jose Mourinho, they had 3 fantastic years together. Ozil can create chances, he can provide assists as well, and Jose Mourinho says he's a fantastic number 10, is Mesut Ozil. But obviously he's been demanding a higher wage increase, and it is confirmed that Arsenal in the process are nowhere near of securing Ozil's deal, as it confirmed that the contract talks have currently stalled in the current process for Ozil. Ozil was also, he's highly experienced because he was in the Bundesliga for 5 years, and it reportedly said the other week he reportedly told his teammates that he does want to join Manchester United. But Ozil's coming to an end of his deal for Arsenal Football Club, so Arsenal have to think about replacements for him. But he still says he's focused on Arsenal. As I said, he's made over century appearances now for Arsenal because this is his 5th season in the process with Arsenal. He's moved at Mosels. And he's won the FA Cups in 4 seasons. Arsenal purchased him for £42.5 million from Real Madrid. Highest paid fee for the German player. And, you know, the current World Cup winner as well. I think he'd bring a lot to Manchester United with moves at Ozil. But I think he is going to leave Arsenal as well in the process. But he does become a free transfer next summer. But as I said, Arsenal would rather cash in rather than let him be a free transfer next summer, as we all know. But as I did give you a bit of an update yesterday on the the Philippe Coutinho situation. I know that Philippe Coutinho now is going to leave. Reportedly, Philippe Coutinho has already agreed personal terms to join Barcelona. That's already been confirmed. It did confirm yesterday that Philippe Coutinho had been house hunting in Spain as well. So reportedly, it did say Barcelona are going to put a new bid in for Barcelona. Going to put a new bid in for Coutinho in January, and Barcelona are preparing to offer £106 million to get Coutinho in January as well. I don't think Liverpool may be satisfied with this offer, because basically Liverpool and Coutinho's representative made it clear that Liverpool value Coutinho at around about £130 million, and that's what they may be willing to sell him for. But Barcelona, I think, are only prepared to pay 106. But we know it was Barcelona's main target. Barcelona had 3 bids rejected for Coutinho in August, and as I said, Neymar, he has a strong friendship with Neymar. Does Philippe Coutinho has a strong friendship with Neymar? Does Philippe Coutinho? And maybe Neymar wants to see Coutinho go to PSG, but he did say he was willing to turn down Paris Saint-Germain, and he does prefer the move to Barcelona, because obviously Paris Saint-Germain invested a lot of money, and I don't think they can get Philippe Coutinho anyway, due to financial fair play regulations and stuff like that as well. But as I said, Coutinho elevates at high level with Barcelona. He'll be playing amongst better players, he'll be winning silver, and with Liverpool, he's not going to be doing this. So this is why Coutinho wants to make the move, because he played attacking mid, he can play on each flank as well. Yeah, he can play on each flank, and Barcelona are seeing him as a long-term replacement for Iniesta as well, Philippe Coutinho. But as I said, he's become one of the most creative, agile midfielders as Philippe Coutinho since he's been at Liverpool. He's had experience playing in Spain before, Espanyol, went to Inter Milan. Liverpool then purchased him for £8.5 million from Inter Milan, as we all know in the current process, Philippe Coutinho. But he's a very, very good player indeed. Let's not get away from that. He's a very, very good player. He's Philippe Coutinho, but he's still under contract with Liverpool, as we all know, until 2022, which is 5-year contract. We know he hasn't been his best this season, due to injury and that Philippe Coutinho. But it's Barcelona's main priority target. It's Barcelona's main priority target. And I do feel as though that Barcelona are going to get a deal line. But Barcelona have had a few alternatives as well. They've had Thomas Lemar. That's been Arsenal, Liverpool's main target. Well, not Liverpool's, but it was Arsenal's back in August. Also, Riyad Mahrez has been mentioned. Barcelona's still been interested in Harry Winks as well in the current process. And Barcelona have also, still got, Griezmann on their radar as well. But as I said, reportedly, about Thomas Lemar in the process. It was Arsenal's main priority target was Thomas Lemar in the August window. Arsenal had 2 bids rejected for Lemar. Liverpool had 2 bids rejected for Thomas Lemar as well. But Monaco were reluctant and were resistant to offload Lemar, due to the amount of money they received for their departure of their players, Monaco. Lemar's still under contract with Monaco to 2020. I think, I think you can play as attacking mid, you can play on each flank as well, can Thomas Lemar. And the president did confirm Lemar's likely to leave Monaco next summer. He also made his international debut in 2016 as well, and I think this is his 3rd season now in the process with Monaco is Lemar's. But obviously, and that was also Barcelona's alternative was Lemar as well. But Liverpool had 2 bids rejected for Lemar as well. Obviously, Liverpool still may have the interest in Lemar. They may think he'd be a fantastic replacement for Coutinho. And also, they may even go for Draxler as well, because that's an Arsenal target as well. And it did say Liverpool reportedly the other week in the press have identified him as a suitable replacement for Philippe Coutinho as well. But talking about Riyad Mahrez as well in the process, he's been an Arsenal target as well as Riyad Mahrez, because Mahrez with Leicester, this is his 4th season of process. He won the Premier League with them, the Championship, the PFA. You know, he's risen up the ranks fantastic. He's made way over 100 appearances now for Leicester City as Raheed Mahrez. You know, we know he started his youth career with Southclass. Then he went with Quimper, then he went with Lee Harvey for about 3 seasons. Majority of his playing time with Lee Harvey, you know, he was in the reserve team, and then Leicester got him in 2014 as well, and he's still under contract with Leicester till 2020, but he did have thoughts about quitting Leicester during the summer. He had thoughts, and he also put a transfer request in during the summer as well. But Raheed Mahrez never ever made the move. But could he still leave in January? Could even Arsenal re-show their interest in him in January? Did report the other week in the press that Marseille were considering they were interested in Mahrez as well. But that's been an Arsenal target. Chelsea were interested in him as well. But yeah, he never ever made the move, Mahrez. But Lemar, as I said, you know, Arsenal could still go for him in January if Sanchez is to go in January, because obviously they may re-show their interest in Lemar Arsenal as a replacement for Sanchez, maybe even Julian Draxler. But as I'm reporting, you know, to you about Alexis Sanchez, he's refused to sign a new deal. As I said, it's looking like Alexis Sanchez is going to leave Arsenal Football Club. All right. Leave Arsenal Football Club, as we all... What? I know. We know he's going to leave Arsenal Football Club. He's at Alexis Sanchez, because he just demanded that he wanted Champions League football back in August. He was also demanding a higher wage from Arsenal as well. And, you know, there's been a lot of teams that have been monitoring and interested in Alexis Sanchez. You know, a lot of teams. I still think City are emergency frontrunners to go on and get him, because Pep Guardiola was fantastic with Sanchez at Barcelona. And you know, he's won 3 FA Cups in 4 seasons with Arsenal, you know, since he's been there. I think this is his 4th season of process. Arsenal purchased him for £35 million from Barcelona, but Arsene Wenger is still convinced that Sanchez will actually see out his deal, and he insists at this moment in time that Sanchez is still happy with Arsenal. But I'd like him at Manchester United, because Manchester United have had an interest. You know, he played attacking mid, can play on each flank. He's a very, very good number 7. He's distinctive in his play. His link-up play is good. He's an efficient finisher. And he's made over 100 appearances now for Arsenal Football Club. As I said, in the process, made his international debut in 2006. Well, he won honours with the likes of River Plate and Cola. And, you know, with Barcelona, were very, very good. You know, scored 21 goals in his last season there. Very, very good there as well. And won honours there as well, Alexis Sanchez as well. But a very, very good player. As I said, he's also been underneath before, so he's had experience playing in Italy, playing in Spain, as well as Alexis Sanchez. But he's now Premier League proven, because he's experienced the Premier League for this is his 4th season. But I think he may still go to Manchester City, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. You know, I think he will go in January, you know, because even if though, I don't know, you know, because there's still teams that are willing to pay for him in January rather than wait next summer. He did say before in the press, City, you know, may wait until next summer to get him on a free rather than pay 20 or 30 million pounds for him in January. Because Arsenal, I think, have clarified he's available for 20 or 30 million in January as well. But obviously, you know, as I said, as I keep saying, Arsenal could have cashed 50-60 million pound in, because that's what City offered. But obviously, Arsenal couldn't find that replacement. But yeah, I think City are going to go for him in January. Then obviously Arsenal are going to identify a replacement. You know, as I said, they've identified Mahrez as a potential replacement. You know, Lemar, their main target there, didn't get a deal over the line for in August. It may be even Draxler, because obviously, you know, PSG are still interested in Alexis Sanchez as well. So Draxler's a very, very good player, and I think Liverpool have also reportedly been interested in him as a good replacement for Philippe Coutinho as well. So Julian Draxler, as I said, very, very good. He's only been at Paris Saint-Germain since January as Julian Draxler. He's only been at Paris Saint-Germain since January as Julian Draxler, because Paris Saint-Germain have purchased him for £42 million from Wolfsburg, as we all know, in January, as we are all aware of as well. But PSG, you know, he's not going to be guaranteed first team football week in, week out, as we all know, you know, due to the amount of money PSG had invested. And I think, you know, Draxler's he's a very, very good player. He's good with both feet. He's tenacious. He's very, very good in the air as well. He's Julian Draxler, skillful. Very, very good indeed as well. But as I said, he raised up the ranks with Schalke fantastically well. With Schalke, you know, he used to play alongside Klasnic as well, who's an Arsenal player. So if Sanchez was to go to Paris Saint-Germain, could Arsenal get Draxler in return for that as well? But as I said, you know, PSG may be reluctant and resisted to offload the player if Sanchez doesn't go to PSG, especially. considering he's only been there since January, but he's surplus to requirements at Paris Saint-Germain, is Julian Draxler. But he's with Schalke, he made 171 appearances, scored 30 goals, and he was voted the best player in the Confederations Cup as well. But he is a very, very good, impressive player indeed, is Julian Draxler. So he could be potential possible replacement. And as I updated you, what did I update you on now? As I updated you yesterday, I think it might have been the day before, I'll give you a bit of update on a bit of Chelsea's transfer rumours, didn't I? Because obviously Conte is in a 3-year deal with Chelsea, he's in his 2nd year. He won the Premier League with them in his 1st season. Chelsea, back in August, they got quite a few players in, but clearly Conte wasn't satisfied, with their lack of investment, because obviously Chelsea missed out on quite a few targets. They missed out on Alexis Sandro, they missed out on Alexis Sandro, they wanted to get Llorente, Chelsea still had that interest in Jamie Vardy. What it was said basically yesterday in the press, basically, Conte is looking for someone to partner up with Alvaro Morata in Chelsea's front line in the current process. He's looking for someone to partner up with Alvaro Morata, basically. And reportedly, it did say yesterday Chelsea had showed an interest in Inter Milan's Icardi. I think he'd... quite a few teams have been interested in him back in the August window. Icardi is a player that's Inter Milan. I think this is his 5th season now in the process of Inter Milan. I think he's completed 4 seasons there. He's made 135 appearances, scored 82 goals for Inter Milan. I think he's scored 11 goals this season as well. And reportedly, Chelsea may consider going for him in January, because reportedly he does have an 88 million release clause as a player. He's under contract with Inter Milan until 2021. I think he signed this new deal back in October 2016, which was last year ago now. As I said, yeah, he's 88 million in his clause, under contract till 2021. Also was top scorer in 2014-15 for Serie A, and Inter Milan as well was the current player. But we know he risen up the youth ranks with Barcelona, as we all know, did Icardi. And then after Barcelona, he... who did he join after Barcelona? And then he went to... he risen up the youth ranks of Barcelona, and then began his professional career with San Pandora and then he went to Inter Milan in 2013, and he made his international debut in 2013. But he's good, he's strong, he's quick, he's good at leaving the lines, he can operate space, he's good at physically going around defenders as well. He's a Icardi, but yeah, Chelsea have identified an interest in him as well, because Chelsea got quite a few, Chelsea are going to go for a few players, because obviously we know Ross Barkley's also being mentioned as well in the current process. Ross Barkley's being mentioned. Ross Barkley, as I said, he's been at Everton since he was 11 years old, and Chelsea Chelsea did agree a fee with Everton, but in the process, Barkley pulled out of the move, and reportedly Barkley had actually completed a medical. He did a medical, but he never made a move. No, Barkley's injured at the moment. He's been at Everton now over a decade. We know he's been on loan deals at Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday. He made his international debut in 2013 as well. Also played for England in the 2014 FIFA World Cup, and he was very, very good last season, because he created a lot of clinical chances. Did Ross Barkley as well in the current process. But as I said, Ross Barkley, Everton player, he's made 150 appearances, scored 21 goals as well for Everton Football Club. The majority of his career has been at Everton, made his debut against Queen's Park Rangers, scored his first goal against Norwich, and scored his first FA Cup goal, as we all know, against Queen's Park Rangers as well, did Ross Barkley. But I think he feels as though now he wants a new challenge. Tottenham may even re-go for him in January as well, Ross Barkley. But indeed, he did nearly make the move, and he becomes a free transfer next summer, does Barkley. So I said Everton would rather cash in for him rather than let him go on a free next summer. And he did turn down an offer of a new contract from Everton back in August as well. So that's on Chelsea's agenda, as we all know. But the main part of this video, guys, is about Marouane Fellaini. Reportedly, Manchester United have agreed to sell Marouane Fellaini off for £8 million, and Man United have reportedly now come to an agreement with Besiktas in the process of this as well. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all later. Take care.